Hi, I'm Ken Nesbitt with poetryforkids.com, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about rhyming and about what is a rhyme and what is not a rhyme, different kinds of rhymes, and also how to use rhymes in your own poems. Now, some people think that a rhyme is just when two words sound the same, but there's a little bit more to it than that. It's when words sound the same at the end. So if two words have the same ending sound, then that makes a rhyme. So if you look at the words cat and hat, for example, those two words end with the same at sound, which makes them a rhyme. Do they start with the same sound? No. One starts with the letter C and one starts with the letter H, so that's with a K sound and an H sound. But they do both end with at, cat, hat. That makes a rhyme. If you look at fun and sun, they both end with the sound un, but they start with different sounds. So those are a rhyme. If you look at words like nose and hose or bake and cake, these end with the same sound and that makes them a rhyme. Now you'll notice something else about these words. All of the words that I've just shown you not only end with the same sound, but they end with the same letters. But that's not necessary in order for two words to form a rhyme. So for example, if you look at the words sky and high, you will see that those two words end with different letters, but they end with the same sound, that I sound, sky, high. They start with different sounds, end with the same sound. So even though they end with different letters, they can still be a rhyme. And here are some other examples: rain and cane, late and ate, and seen and been. These end with different letters, but they are a rhyme because they end with the same sound. Now, here are some examples of words that are not a rhyme. It's not a rhyme when words start with the same sound. So if you look at the words shake and shape, those two words sound a lot alike because they start with the same sound. But they don't end with the same sound, and so those are not a rhyme. The same is true of meet and mean. They both start with me, but they don't rhyme because they don't end with the same sound. Meet ends with that T sound, and mean ends with that N sound. The same here is true of cat and cap, and boat and bowl. Now something else that might be a little tricky is some people think that it's a rhyme if it just has the same sound in the middle and the ending is really close. So for example, team and mean. Those are really close, aren't they? They both have the same E sound in the middle, but that ending sound, it's a little different. One's an M and one's an N. So that's close, but it's not quite a rhyme. The same is true here of cake and late, bone and coat, mine and bite. You hear they have that different sound in the end, even though they have the same sound in the middle. Now there are other kinds of rhymes. Let me show you some kinds of rhymes. Besides simple one-syllable rhymes like cat and hat, there are also two-syllable rhymes, and these are called double rhymes. So for example, jumper and bumper are a double rhyme. Do you hear that? Umper, jumper, bumper. Sitting, hitting. Those are both double rhymes. And just like we have single rhymes, double rhymes, we also have triple rhymes. A triple rhyme is when words end with the last three syllables sounding exactly the same, like hammering or stammering or cavity and gravity. So those are triple rhymes. Now I'll tell you a secret. It's much, much easier to rhyme with single rhymes because there aren't as many double rhymes in English as there are single rhymes, and there are hardly any triple rhymes in English compared to the number of double rhymes and single rhymes. So if you stick with words like fly and sky, cat and hat, you're going to find a lot more rhymes and it's going to be much easier to write your poems. Now let's talk for just a minute about where the rhymes go in the poems. In order for poems to rhyme, the the rhymes typically need to go at the ends of each line, or maybe even at the ends of other lines, but the rhymes need to go at the ends of the lines. So here's an example. I rhymed the words nice and mice by putting them at the ends of two lines, and I said, my cat is nice, my cat likes mice. You see what I've done is I've put my two rhyming words at the ends of each line. If I had put the rhyming words into the middle or the beginning of the line, if I had said, my cat is nice, mice don't like him. Well, you see, that doesn't rhyme because my rhyme is at the beginning of the line instead of the end. Now, sometimes you can have a rhyme inside of a line, like this example. I said, my cat is nice, my cat is fat. Now you hear that rhyme? I used cat and fat inside of a single line. Now in this case, I think I might want to then rhyme the word fat in another line. Let's see how we might do that. Here's a short little poem I wrote. It goes, my cat is gray, my cat is fat, my cat is nice, I like my cat. Now you see what we've done here? In addition to the fat cat, where we put the rhyme inside the line, I also rhymed the second line and the fourth line. Fat and cat there. And that comes up with a very nice sounding poem with a little bit of rhymes. Now, you don't have to rhyme a lot if you don't want to. You can rhyme just a couple of words. But here's how you decide. Did you know that poems don't even have to rhyme? They don't. But you may find that you like to write rhyming poems, or you may find that you don't like to write rhyming poems. Here's how to decide whether to choose to rhyme or not. Rhyming makes poems feel happier and sillier and lighter and goofier. So if you're going to write a funny poem, it usually works better if you also make it a rhyming poem. If you want to write a serious poem, you might want to think about not rhyming it. Now, when you write a poem, I've seen a lot of kids do this, where they write a poem just like as if they're writing a story. But one of the things that makes a poem is having shorter lines. So instead of writing all the way to the end of the page and then continuing on the next line and going all the way to the end of the page, try breaking your lines into really short ones and then maybe putting some rhymes on the ends of them. So here's an example of something that's not a poem. This is not a poem. This is a paragraph that has long lines. The long lines in this paragraph don't break at the right side of the page. Now let's look at something that has shorter lines, that is a poem. This is a poem. Its lines are all short. Poems don't have to rhyme, but I like that sort. Now you know everything that you need to know about rhyming and how to use rhymes in your poems, and so I hope that you take this information and go write yourself a whole bunch of poems and have fun with it.